In the balcony, number 3.
Hi, Peter Duran, Alf Chump Studio. First of all, thanks for all the innovation that you're doing, and thank you for all the educators who are in this room right now. I don't think we could find a teacher that we could identify as not caring. We have good teachers, we have great teachers, and we have exhausted teachers. Also, I'd like you to talk about one of the many Achilles heels in the system, and that is school boards. In the city where I live, it's a racially divided school board, and it's an economically divided school board. These are the people who make all budgetary decisions, and they're from the community, but most of them have no background in technology, education.
Last week I presented to a group of superintendents, equivalent in Canada, about open source and the opportunity to use open source curriculum to address some of the inequities and the costs. And it was a phenomenally scary presentation because half the people in there had no idea what I was talking about, even what open source was. They'd never heard of it, they didn't know with it. But when we got to the end of the session, they realized that there was an opportunity because this is an economic problem as well as a knowledge problem. And they had all sorts of great ideas about how to bring this from the school board back into the schools.
I think one of the fundamental problems has to do with the bureaucracy around the way that education is organized right now. Nothing can get done when there's 35 children in a classroom. No matter how much technology we have or if the textbooks are free, 35 kids and 1 adult is just not an optimum learning situation. So I think that there's a national conversation that has yet to go on to reorganize public education. In some communities, the way that it's funded inherently makes it a failure. In some communities where things are racially divided or economically divided, there are families who opt out of the public system altogether. I work in a private school. You know, there are those options for those that have the means. But until there's a national conversation about reorganizing education and looking at the pedagogies that we use, especially in K-12, I don't think that some of these problems will get solved yet.
Question on the floor, and then we're going to go to the screening room.
So maybe a dangerous idea, if you look at Apache as an open source model that is being supported by IBM to sell the hardware, why isn't open source being supported by computer vendors and broadband providers? Now I don't have to pay for the books, and now people can pay money, or the school districts can use the money to buy the computers and buy the broadband that they don't have. So why isn't that a way of getting technology into the school? And
that's the economic model for Curriki. We think that to be a nonprofit, to continue to support open source, we need a sustainable model, and you have described one of the sustainable models. And we are talking to the computer vendors, we're talking to the broadband vendors, and we're talking to the publishers. And many people have asked me why, but you've defined the reasons why, because they need to support that they're not going to go out of business if they don't print a book. They're going to